Are there karmic lessons that each zodiac sign needs to learn? If you believe in karma, you may be familiar with karmic lessons, which remain severely unsettled and span lives. Themes and circumstances that we failed to learn from or handled poorly in the past are known as karmic lessons. These karmic teachings, which frequently come through relationships or repetitive patterns and circumstances, will continue to arise in our lives until we learn from them. And each zodiac sign has karma, and it ultimately comes around to teach you something significant. So, what is your karmic lesson, and how does it affect your life? Hey everybody, welcome to Stars Are Signs. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications if you're interested in learning more about astrology and how it can be used to benefit your life. Well, let's get started. Aries. Those who are born under this sign will express a lot of energy that borders on anger. By making the most of their innate ability to handle setbacks, they will have a much simpler time fulfilling their life's purpose or karmic lesson, which involves locating a state of harmony inside themselves. They won't be able to find the peace and consistency they seek until they learn how to deal with life through experiences involving sacrifice and disappointment, and until their perspectives are lined with flowers. Until then, they will have a difficult time overcoming their karmic lessons of tranquility and consistency. They are pulled apart by conflicts within as well as challenges on the outside. After experiencing numerous highs and lows, all that's required of them is the strength and bravery to let go of the past without looking back in order to continue living in the present and always looking ahead. Taurus. Those who are born under the sign of Taurus have the responsibility to fulfill their karmic obligations by nurturing and opening their own souls and finding the way to enlightenment, understanding, and adaptability. These individuals should focus on developing themselves on the inside on the foundation of their natural confidence and sense of safety, behind someone's explosive reactions and tendency to try to force the environment to conform to their will and expectations. There's typically uncertainty and fear that a change in opinion or circumstances will result in some sort of loss and defeat for them. This fear is especially prevalent when the person in question is surrounded by people whose opinion is important to them. The Taurus sign is terrified of being without. This leads them to hoard anything, including money, collector's items, or even things they won't throw away just in case they might need it someday. Their karmic lesson will be found in sharing, giving, and finding balance between materialism and love and relationships in their life. Gemini. Gemini's karmic task is to bring their contradictory natures into harmony with one another. In spite of their ability, strength, curiosity, and impulsiveness, they are rarely successful in completing the tasks that have been assigned to them. They continuously lay the responsibility for the failures that follow such actions on someone else to avoid dealing with the source of their difficulties. They have narcissistic tendencies, the belief that they are better than other people, and the conviction that it is their birthright to demand the best employment and the highest awards. They are, however, usually well-meaning and oblivious to their perspective. They must learn to rise above their superficiality, mood swings, and inconsistencies in their thoughts and acts, since they are drawn to worldly and spiritual things. This means that they need to learn how to get beyond their own inconsistencies in their thoughts and actions. Cancer. Cancer has as its karmic mission to overcome insecurities. They need to get rid of their highly emotional predisposition, since doing so compels them to continually exhibit their devotion, dedication, and attentiveness. They are always trying to prove themselves, their ideas, and beliefs to others. It is unrealistic to anticipate Cancers to be combative in character, since by their very nature they are not fighters. They typically come out on the losing end of these battles when they are forced to defend their beliefs, which strikes a significant blow to their sense of self-worth and gives rise to new complexes and irrational thoughts for them. Instead of fighting in warfare, their most effective weapons will be quiet self-assurance and confidence founded on their genuine and verified characteristics. Leo. A nuanced and realistic perspective on the here and now is brought to the table by Leos. They are able to appease not just themselves, but also those around them, and they have achieved the ideal balance between the satisfaction of their spiritual and material needs. They look forward to their power being maintained in every facet of their lives. In spite of their great features, if they allow their egotism and self-centeredness to become excessive, they will stifle the development of their personality. Their karmic obligation is to listen attentively to what other people have to say so that they might pick up useful information and offer aid to others. If they follow their intuition, there is no chance that they would absorb anything that's not real, since they have an innate ability to tell right from wrong. Virgo. Those who are fortunate enough to be born at this period have a karmically given gift of self-discipline, which they may put to use in order to develop the appropriate attitude toward material values, work, and education. They believe that it is their duty to keep their feelings in check in order to achieve the larger goals that they have set for themselves. They unintentionally distance themselves from individuals who seek more affectionate interpersonal connections and who mistake their uncertainty and fear of closeness for coldness and absence. Hence, they need to learn how to be more warm and caring to others. Virgo also needs to refrain from passing judgment on others and should never give up on trying to understand what motivates the actions of others. They need to make a greater effort to recognize their own feelings and rely on them in order to avoid endless self-analysis that constantly gives rise to new doubts and to develop confidence in themselves and the decisions that they make. Libra. A Libra struggles to make decisions because they want to find a balance between their soul and their material world. They are calm and accommodating people who avoid controversy at all costs, even if it requires them to give up their sense of self-worth. They seldom achieve anything beneficial, and instead just build a bunch of new roadblocks in the way of establishing their own identities because they choose to ignore challenges and always look for the easy option. Their karmic obligation is to challenge themselves and alter the way things are currently going in their lives. They have no chance of achieving greater levels of success in life until they learn to be more adaptable in the face of adversity and are willing to put their false sense of stability at risk. They often only realize this after a disaster because of their great sensitivity, instability, and ability to fool themselves into thinking everything is fine, even when it's not. Scorpio. The immense amount of energy that Scorpios possess, if not properly channeled, has the potential to become destructive. They need to be reminded on a consistent basis that their freedom of choice originates from the inside, not from other influences such as external circumstances or ideas that are held by others. Due to the fact that they are at the center of everything as a consequence of their self-indulgent nature, they are forced to deal with it. In order to be prepared for the responsibilities that come with success, the Scorpio must first learn how to gracefully lose and resign from their positions. They must accomplish their task through faith and honesty rather than resorting to violence. The main karmic lesson of this sign is to create logic and control your passions. They are driven by the same aspiration to achieve greater spiritual heights. Hence, they need to acquire the ability to rein in their extremism and excess. Sagittarius. Those who are born under the sign of Sagittarius are conscious of their place in the world and are free from the burdens of personal difficulties and disasters. And because they have a good balance between spirit and matter, they are able to acquire material belongings and accomplish success on earth. However, in order to maintain this balance, they must continue to be thankful, honest, and compassionate. They need to make it their primary mission in life to help others who are vulnerable, defenseless, or off course while also practicing generosity, reciprocity, attentiveness, and understanding. The greatest course of action for them would be to make compassionate judgments throughout their lives without ever having a desire for revenge or retribution of any kind. Their karma requires them to cultivate inner calm and refrain from all forms of possessiveness and selfishness, since their hunger has the potential to swiftly become uncontrollable and transform into greed. Capricorn. Those who are born under the sign of Capricorn are fortunate enough to get a karmic gift that gives them the ability to raise people up beyond worldly concerns. They put forth a lot of effort to improve the knowledge they have, but they regularly run across obstacles along the road. Throughout the course of their lives, they are regularly subjected to misunderstandings on the part of the people around them and their world, which hardly accepts their views or attitudes. Because they are inherently sensitive, they have difficulty adapting to new environments and usually resort to being impolite in order to hide how they really feel. When given a choice, they will frequently select for criticism rather than empathy, and on occasion they may choose revenge above forgiving those who have wronged them. They are unable to give up the taste of achievement, even if doing so would cost them so much pleasure that it would be detrimental to them rather than beneficial. It's important for them to learn to open up and engage with people and not be afraid of getting close and letting someone in. Aquarius. The Aquarius zodiac sign carries karmic debts that make it difficult for them to find solutions to difficulties stemming from their past. Their upbringing, morality, and fear of authority were all quite restrictive, which results in their wild and unrestricted spirit. These people usually find themselves the victims of compelled obligations, duties, and compromises, which they then use as a justification for lacking the self-assurance to live their life in a manner in which they feel is most appropriate. They lack the understanding of their choices, which often causes them to take drastic measures. They need to cope with their fear of negative feedback. Their karmic lesson will be to take responsibility for their actions and learn how to manage their fear of criticism. Pisces. Pisces have a strong aptitude for intuitive reasoning and action, but they are frequently confused by the reactions and demands of their environment. They are also constrained by a strong desire to appease everyone in order to meet demands and expectations that are beyond their control. In the event that they make a mistake, rather than rectifying the issue, they will continue to sit where they are and suffer the fake penalty that they have imposed on themselves. In all that they do, they need to listen to their instincts and not place too much faith in logic or in what other people say is best for them. Because their feelings are almost always justified, all that is required of them is to coordinate their actions with those feelings. Their karmic obligation is to withstand compulsion and pursue their own goals without caving into the pressure exerted on them by other people. They have an obligation to take decisive action to eliminate any situations that may force them to behave in a manner that is contrary to their better judgment. So, what do you think about your karmic lesson?